I'm so appreciative to be here today. So excited. I'm giddy to be here today. And I have a lot of questions, but my primary question is going to be, I use the games whenever I feel negative emotion. So step 1, I use the games to get me to move over to step 3.
Does they work?
Very effectively. And I use them all the time. I've been listening to audios, and at times you speak about when you're feeling that contrast, sometimes just go take a nap and go wake up the next day and just feel.
You can tell. That's why we ask if it works. If it works, then it's an effective tool. If it just makes you mad, it's not an effective tool. And it sort of depends on how long you've been trending. Talking about one of the processes, like, what's your favorite?
I really like the focus wheel.
Yeah, that's Esther's go-to too. So your question is, why do sometimes we say the process is effective and sometimes we say taking a nap is? Really the answer is, and it's a really easy and specific answer, if you've been trending for quite a while, and we're talking about in the day in which you're feeling like you want to tune up, if you've been trending all day long on the lower half of the scale, then a nap or a meditation is a good first thing to do. But usually, because your life is sort of frenzied under those conditions, your usual response is, I don't have time to meditate, or I don't have time to take a nap, or you'll talk yourself out of that too. But that's the distinction that we would make. Esther's daughter, Tracy, when her children were little, and they were going to meet for dinner or something, Tracy said, I'm going to make sure they're rested, the kids, and they've eaten so they're not hangry, and I'm setting them up for success. And what she meant was, I'm setting them up for a good time with Grandma and Grandpa. So that's all we're suggesting, is that you set yourself up for the best possibility of releasing resistance so that your cork begins to float again. And you can tell, if you've ever seen a child that is cranky and out of control, it's gone too far to get them to take a nap. You usually need drugs. It's gone too far. There's no game or distraction or settling them down. In other words, sometimes they just have to throw their conniption. And sometimes you do too.
Perfect.
Enough?
That was enough, yes.
Really good.
Thank you.
And we hope that you hear that it's all right to throw that conniption. There's not anything that's off limits to being more deliberate. Yes?
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool because I just want to be up in this chair. And I was thinking, I was going through my mind like, well, what would I have valuable to ask or say? I just want to be up in this chair. And I've been feeling so worthy, so steady in my worthiness, that I could just want to be up in this chair and say hi and thank you and I love you and my life is amazing. My life is so amazing. I found your teachings 6 years ago when I was at my lowest low, and it was an instant 180, and the trending that my life has been having and the speed at which everything is picking up, and my steadiness and my knowing of all is well for me and for everybody, and my worthiness and everybody's worthiness, and my ability.
Are you watching her receiving?
My ability to have what I want and not have to earn it or deserve it. To, when I hear in my head of, either in my head or a reflection from somebody of, you should do this, you need to do that, my knowing that that's when, for sure, not that, what do I want to do? And to do that. And allow things to just magically appear in my lap.
Magically is a fine word. Let's add logically to that.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's add normally to that. It's just the way it goes, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And I love it. And I love you. And
yeah. Really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Really good. There it is. All right, there's too much happiness in this room.
I don't totally know where to start. We have danced many times, obviously, you and I.
So I was out on the leading edge.
Well, that's funny that you brought that word up, the leading edge, because when you asked that in the beginning, do you know you are on the leading edge? And my inside was no, but not from lack. I'm in a new place.
Maybe the reason it doesn't feel so leading edge to you is because the leading edge is beginning to feel like a normal place. And most people think of the leading edge like a quantum leap, which is not a good idea. Most people think of the leading edge like something that would feel so far out there that you'd be teased or tickled with feelings of inadequacy or impossibility. But when the leading edge starts feeling normal, then you don't want to call it leading, but it is. If you ever want to know, just look around at others and see the difference in the way they're living and the way you're living, and you understand you're on the leading edge. And we're not talking about material things, although that's evidence too, but we're talking about how you usually trend. How do you usually trend in relationship to how most people usually trend?
I don't know.
Are you alone all the time?
No, but I don't care.
Well, that's a good answer too. That's a good answer too. I don't care how anybody else is doing.
I don't. But I do.
We don't believe you,
but I do.
It's a good answer.
So then let's go to this. So I wanted to talk about feelings. And I also want to talk about, are you knowing what you are wanting?
When we ask you, are you knowing what you're wanting? What a weird sentence structure that is.
No.
When we ask you, do you know what you want?
I don't know.
We put it to you because we want you in this right here and now red hot minute to do the best you can do at focusing on what you'd like to receive. For example, if you've got a headache, you might say, I'd like my headache to ease. If you're feeling uneasy, then what you want may be to feel a little more easy. If you're feeling shy, you might want to be feeling a little more confident. If you're feeling a little bored, you might want to be feeling more stimulated. A group of people have a lot of varied intentions. Some have something that they want to offer. In other words, our friend didn't have a question, but she's the most important thing that's happened in the seminar so far, maybe all week long. Because she demonstrated her natural and easy connection with who she is, and she demonstrated it with a flow that was delightful in every way. She's an example of everything that everyone wants. So when we say, are you knowing what you're wanting? And you may have heard us say, and this applies to you as much as anything or as much as anyone, what you want to get or give. Because often the conversations that you have with Abraham are some about clarifying for yourself, but others about expressing insights that have occurred to you and the way they have played out in your life experience. That's all very beneficial. And so now think about those conversations that we were talking about, where it's you and somebody else comes and somebody else comes and somebody else comes. So imagine all the mixture of intentions that are in a forum like this, all the vibrations that could potentially be active. And then as you come to a point of focus, then you're going to rendezvous with others. No coincidence. It was not something that was known. In other words, no connection, but there you are right there on a similar wavelength. And so it followed that that's what would happen next. This universe is utterly logical. We want to teach you the logic of the universe, but it's not logic that you think into place. It's logic that you feel into place, because it's vibrational logic. In the same way that there are things that you can't see with your eyes, but they exist just the same, and you need a microscope or something, and then there are even things that are beyond what the microscope can see, but they're still there. Well, that's what's going on all around you all the time. And your key to being in the right place at the right time is something that you feel and know because you know what that feeling means, not because it's something that you can put into words. Unsatisfying, but true.
So now we're in the feelings and the sensing and the receiving and the feeling and the sensing.
Do you notice that it's like think and feel, which is better said, focus and feel, focus and feel. So that's why we say, are you knowing what you're wanting? Because we want you to focus and feel, and focus and feel. And if you do that a little bit, then your senses are activated in a way that everything that happens from this hot seat in this exchange can then be more meaningful to you. If you've come with no intention, or if you've come with so many intentions that they're scattered all over the place, it's not as helpful or meaningful to you. That was what you first asked when you sat down. Is there something beyond that?
There is.